Good morning. I'm at the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa. Specifically, I'm here today to try to find as many of the Victoria Crosses as I can and do a quick video with regards to them. So here are 6 Victoria Crosses, and they're all real, to my understanding. Now, of these 6, I've only visited the grave of 1. And I just came from the grave of Philip Conowall, which is right in the middle here. That's his bar of medals there, the VC at the front, of course. And there's a little write-up. I pretty much documented that in the video I made of Philippe this morning. The other 5, they are not, to the best of my understanding, are not interred on Canadian soil, and I do believe that Michael James O'Rourke, VC, he survived the war. I don't think I have information. Oh, actually, sorry, I do. Michael James O'Rourke was actually buried in BC, but I couldn't visit his grave when I was out there. It was a little distance away, and I ran out of time. I couldn't visit all the BC ones. I only visited 3 of them. 3 of the 7, I believe. Unfortunately. So Philip is interred at Notre Dame Cemetery in Ottawa. Robert Hill Hanna, he survived the war. I don't know where he is buried. I'll have to further investigate that. If he indeed was buried, he could have been cremated, right? So currently I don't have any information on Robert Hill Hanna, VC. O'Kilmassey Learmonth, VC. He died. He died shortly after the battle that gained him the VC. So I cannot visit his grave. Frederick Hobson. He also died. I know he died, but he died shortly after during a battle. So now I'm not too educated on Frederick Hobson, but what I will say is, I can't. I at this point, I don't think I can visit his grave. He might be buried on foreign soil. And Harry Brown, VC, he was awarded the VC posthumously, I should say, and I don't think I'm going to be able to visit his grave either. He's probably buried on foreign soil as well. So, just quickly to mention, lights are going off. They're on motion or timer. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we have 6 here, which is very, very interesting for me to see original medals. They've either been purchased by the museum or they've been donated. Regardless, wow, it's cool to see 6 of them. So I'm going to continue and see if I can find any more. So here's a gentleman that I'm familiar with. This is Francis Pegamonbo. He is Canada's highest decorated Indigenous First Nations person, and I had the honor of visiting his grave. That'd be maybe a couple months ago. He is buried on Perry Island, First Nations owned island off of Perry Sound, Ontario. So there's a monument, an absolutely beautiful monument dedicated to Francis Pegamonbo, Peggy, or Peg as his comrades called him, down by the waterfront in Perry Sound, sorry. And so like I said, I had the privilege of going to his final resting spot on Perry Island 2.5 months ago. I can't remember the dates. I'm all over the place these days, so things are getting a little fuzzy. Oh, it says right there, he's actually on Perry Island. So that was cool. I come across Francis. Okay, so this is William Barker, VC. This is his actual Victoria Cross, right there, obviously. And I've had the honor of visiting William Barker's final resting spot. He's in a mausoleum at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. Beautiful, beautiful mausoleum. He's one of the most famous Canadian aviators from World War I, and one of the most famous military figures in Canadian history. Lieutenant Colonel William G. Barker, one of the legendary aces of the war, remains the most decorated Canadian in military service. He shot down 50 enemy aircraft in Italy and France. This guy had a good eye. Barker received the Victoria Cross for a spectacular dogfight on October 27, 1918, where he single-handedly fought off several dozen German planes, shooting down 4 before crash landing behind enemy lines. I don't know how the plane got off the ground. This guy had 3 giant nuts. William Barker continued to fly after the war. He died in an aircraft accident in 1930. Can you imagine that? Surviving the war, then, well, you know, risky back then. It's risky flying a plane today, never mind back then. So that's not surprising. But this is a list of his medals. Wow. Yeah, he's got quite the lack of medals there. 9. This is in French, obviously. Yeah, this is a picture of him. Cool. Okay, so this is a very mood point for me. Getting the chance to look at and view Alan Arnett McLeod, VC. That's his VC there. So I didn't get a chance to visit his final resting spot in just outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba, last month when my train was delayed and didn't get into Winnipeg, so I didn't get enough time to go to the cemetery, and it came in late. So I wouldn't have had enough time to get there and back. So unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to pay my respects to Alan Arnett McLeod, VC. Canada's youngest Victoria Cross recipient, Alan McLeod of Stonewall, Manitoba, was accepted for flight training on his 18th birthday. Lieutenant McLeod first flew defensive patrols in England and began flying bombers on the Western Front in December 1917. McLeod was awarded the Victoria Cross for his actions on 27 March 1918, but he died of influenza in November of the same year. And my understanding of that is he died in Winnipeg, or in his little hometown, when he was on active leave. So he was a Victoria Cross recipient on active leave, and he died of, influenza. Oh man, that's a sad story. And his from pictures I've seen online of his grave marker in I can't remember where it is. Just a little bit outside of Winnipeg. It's beautiful. So I was really upset. Actually, really upset I didn't get a chance to go and see that, put eyes on that firsthand. But you know what? I will get out. I'm going to get out and see his final resting spot. This one I'm going to make definitely a mission. So I will definitely be seeing his. Mark my words on that one. So I'm glad I got to witness his Victoria Cross firsthand. Right beside Alan Arnett McLeod, you have William Bishop's medals. Trying to get that's Billy Bishop. So the airport in Toronto, the Toronto Airport, is named after this gentleman. Look at this rack of medals here. So VC obviously left, and yeah, he's got a whack of medals. So Billy Bishop, my understanding is he's interred in Owen Sound, Ontario. I haven't had the chance to get to the Owen Sound Cemetery yet, but I'm going to. So I will pay my respects to William Billy Bishop someday very soon. He's definitely at the top of my list, and I believe there's a couple others, or at least one other VC buried, interred in that cemetery as well. So yes, I will get out to visit Billy Bishop's final resting spot. So this is Major General Perks, VC. George Perks won the Victoria Cross for his bravery at Passchendaele. Under heavy German fire, he led his unit to capture a series of enemy positions. Despite being badly wounded, one soldier remarked, "I would have followed him through hell." Wow. Remaining in the Army after the war, Perks rose to the rank of Major General. From 1957 to 1960, he was Minister of National Defense and later served as Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia. So this is the General's medals down here. He's got a rack too, obviously. And my understanding is, like I said earlier, these are all original VCs, whether they're purchased or donated. But The general, he's buried at Holy Trinity Cemetery in Sydney, Victoria, Vancouver. So I didn't get out to see him when I was there, unfortunately. But I can't. I didn't. I do feel regret that I didn't. But that's just a separate. I'd have to do a separate trip just for that, to visit all these people. Anyhow, I gotta stay focused in my head, not get down on myself, because it would be nice to visit all 53. And like I said, maybe someday I will. But I didn't get a chance to visit the general here. So, but he sounded like a really good guy, and his men loved him by the sounds of it. I would have followed him through hell. Oh, well, there you go. So that's George Perks, VC. Okay, so we're at another Victoria Cross recipient. This is Lieutenant Samuel Honey, VC. He exemplified junior leadership in the trenches as he led his men from the front. Samuel Honey, a former teacher who enlisted in January 1915, won several awards for battlefield bravery and was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. During the 100 Days, Honey led his troops against a series of German positions at Canal du Nord. He won his Victoria Cross for charging and destroying German machine gun that had pinned down his unit. He died on 30 September after being wounded in battle the previous day. Young, handsome fellow there, didn't make it back, unfortunately. But he gained our country's highest honor, fortunately. That is Lieutenant Samuel Honey, VC. Okay, this is John McGregor, VC. Captain John McGregor. McGregor was awarded the Victoria Cross for his courage during the intense battles west of Cambrai between 29 September and 3 October 1918. In one clash, he single-handedly attacked a series of machine guns, killing 4 Germans and capturing 8 prisoners. So I didn't get a chance to visit Captain McGregor's final resting spot. He was buried in Cranberry Lake Cemetery in Powell River, BC. I was nowhere near that my trip to BC last month, so unfortunately I didn't get to visit Captain McGregor's final resting spot. But like I said, maybe someday I will. This is Sergeant Hugh Cairns, Sergeant Hugh Cairns. Fought at Valenciennes in the last major Canadian battle of the war. He was awarded the Victoria Cross for his actions on 1 November 1918. Cairns single-handedly captured a German machine gun position and later led a small group of Canadians in a fierce firefight in which 30 Germans were killed or taken prisoner. Twice wounded in the battle, he died the next day. That's his collection of medals. I'm assuming he's buried on foreign soil, so I won't have a chance to visit his actual final resting spot. Okay, so luckily I didn't walk right past this. This is a more detailed write-up with regards to Francis Pegamambo, which is good. I just thought they had a picture of him back there, and that was it. But you know what? If memory serves me correctly, I did stop at this the last time I was here in November of last year. So yeah, that's good. So it's nice that they did something for Peggy. A decorated Indigenous soldier, Corporal Francis Pegamambo is the most decorated Indigenous soldier in Canada's history. After serving in the First World War, he spent decades as a dedicated community leader. An Ojibwe from Wassasaknin First Nation, formerly the Perry Island Band in Ontario, Francis Pegamambo enlisted in August 1914 and served until the end of the war. He was a skilled sniper and trench raider. Wow. That means you go into the trenches and you're taking care of business. And one of only 39 men in the entire Canadian Corps to receive the military medal 3 times. Yeah, that's impressive. Pegamambo returned to Canada as a celebrated soldier. Despite this, he faced barriers due to racial discrimination, including unequal access to veterans' benefits. He worked tirelessly to further Indigenous rights in Canada. So this is his medal rack over here. I'm not going to read all that out. I'll take a picture of that. But what I will read this. Symbols of service. Pegamambo kept his medals safe in this handmade leather case when they were not being displayed or worn. Two badges are affixed to its flap. A war service badge, which was issued to recognize service at the front with the Canadian Expeditionary Force, and a cap badge for Pegamambo's wartime unit, the 1st Canadian Infantry Battalion. Wow, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Wow. Yeah, that's nice. I'm really glad I got to see this. Very cool. Till next time, Peggy. Canadian War Marker. This one's kind of poignant. That's for the unknown soldier. Unknown soldiers. Canada's war dead remain in overseas cemeteries maintained by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, including 6,846 whose remains were never identified. The Vimy and Meningate memorials in France and Belgium contain the names of another 18,000 Canadians whose bodies were never recovered. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, not surprising, but when you put a number to it, it is kind of alarming. In 2000, Canada brought home one of its unknown soldiers and buried him at the National War Memorial in Ottawa. His grave marker now rests in the museum's Memorial Hall. So it says down here, known unto God. So only God knows. What's this here? Stained glass windows. Many communities created memorials to their fallen, often commissioning stained glass windows for their churches or public buildings. The Welcome Zion Congregational Church in Ottawa erected this window, part of a group of 3. In 1922, it commemorates 8 fallen congregation members. The window came to the Canadian War Museum after the church closed in 1941. Oh, that's very cool. I've seen this before, but I never read that. Yeah, that's, look at this. Yeah. If I read that down there before, I don't remember reading it. I've seen that tombstone before, that war marker. Wow, that's beautiful. Take a picture of this. Okay, so now they've changed this up a little since the last time I was here. But now we're coming into a display, an illustrated display with regards to the Japanese entering the war and the Battle of Hong Kong. Up there it says defeated Hong Kong, and that was the headline of the day. But I'll read this. On December 7, 1941, without warning, Japan struck against American, British, and Dutch possessions in Asia and the Pacific. Among the defenders of the British colony of Hong Kong was a small contingent of Canadian troops. Here, Japan strikes in the Pacific, just a map. This is what our soldier in Hong Kong would be dressed in. It was a warm climate. The gun that the soldier is holding, I'm going to say it's a Lee Enfield Mark IV. I haven't looked at that yet. I swear I haven't. I could be way off on that, but I think it's a Lee Enfield Mark IV, and that gun that is standing vertically, I'm not sure what that gun's called. Well, let's go check it out. Canadians to Hong Kong. The Canadian force in Hong Kong was made up of the Royal Rifles of Canada, my Uncle Ralph, and Denzel Firth, and the Winnipeg Grenadiers. Soldiers of these two battalions had tropical uniforms to cope with the hot Hong Kong climate. You got a field service cap badge. Let's get to the guns here. Weapons. Canadian troops at Hong Kong used obsolete weapons like this Lewis gun, Lewis light machine gun of the First World War, and machine gun Lewis Mark I. Okay, where is? Oh, it doesn't outline. It doesn't even outline the rifle. That's weird. Maybe I can see on the rifle what it is, but it would say on top. That's a Lee Enfield. I'm pretty sure. World War I probably. So it might not even be a Mark IV. Mark II. Oh, no, sorry. It's right there. Rifle, Lee Enfield No. 1, Mark III. Okay, so I was a little off. Canadian troops fought Canada's first land battle of the war at Hong Kong. In November 1941, Canada sent 1,975 troops to reinforce the garrison of the British colony of Hong Kong. Although part of the plan to deter Japanese aggression, the Canadians were not fully equipped and were still undergoing training. On 8 December, Japanese forces invaded Hong Kong and overran its meager defenses in 17 days. The losses were heavy, 2,113 killed and missing in action, including 290 Canadians and hundreds of wounded. All survivors were taken prisoner. Uncle Ralph Dewey was one of them, as I've documented that many times. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to assume that's just a remake of this. Remember Hong Kong, the Royal Rifles of Canada. We will be reconstituted 100%. Follow their glorious example. Enlist now. So here we have Company Sergeant Major John Osborne, VC. First World War veteran John Osborne served with the Winnipeg Grenadiers at Hong Kong. On 19 December 1941, he led his troops in an attack on Japanese positions. Osborne was killed instantly when he threw himself on an enemy grenade that had landed near his comrades. He was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross. So here is the Major, Sergeant Major's bar of medals, rack of medals, and there is the VC. Take a couple pictures of that. Yeah, that guy had balls made of brass. As a lot of them did. I don't mean to laugh, but he'd probably get a laugh out of that comment. Until next time, Sergeant Major. And there's a Japanese soldier. Who cares about that? This is Lieutenant Colonel Cecil Merritt, VC. Lieutenant Colonel Cecil Merritt, South Saskatchewan Regiment, is perhaps the most famous Canadian Victoria Cross winner of the Second World War. Merritt led his troops under fire across a bridge at Pourville. After clearing enemy pillboxes, he organized a defensive position and successfully covered the Canadian withdrawal. Merritt was ultimately taken prisoner. And here is his rack of medals. Now, Lieutenant Colonel, based on my notes here, Lieutenant Colonel, he's buried at Ocean View Memorial Park in Burnaby. I didn't get out to his grave either when I was out west, unfortunately. But maybe, like I said, one day I will. Okay, this is David Vivian Curry's rack of medals, as you see there. Lieutenant Colonel David Vivian Curry. Okay, so now hold on a second here. Oh, okay, here we go. I guess this is when he was received the VC, was a major. Major David V. Curry, South Alberta Regiment, won the Victoria Cross at Saint Lambert Sir Dives. My French is a little rusty. Through which he ran the last road open to the escaping Germans. With a handful of soldiers, Curry captured the village and held it for several days in the face of repeated counterattacks by superior German forces. His command destroyed 7 tanks, wow, that's pretty good, 12 guns, and 40 vehicles, and captured an incredible 2,100 German prisoners. Holy. This photo below is the closest we have to someone actually winning a Victoria Cross. Wow, that's cool. We'll take a picture of that. Yeah, actually, I've seen this picture before. That's quite a famous picture. Wow. Yeah. Low as hell, man. So over here, Victoria Cross medal set, Lieutenant Colonel David Vivian Curry, VC. I'll read this out. From left to right, Victoria Cross, 1939-1945 star. That's the duration of the war. France and Germany star, Defense Medal, Canadian Volunteer Service Medal with Overseas Bar, War Medal, 39-45. Queen Elizabeth II Coronation Medal, oh, that's cool. Canadian Centennial Medal, Queen Elizabeth II Silver Jubilee Medal. Acquired with the assistance of the Brownlee Family Foundation and the following honorary members of the North Saskatchewan Regiment and their families. Heather Ryan and L. David Dubé, Honorary Lieutenant Colonel Sandra Howe and Dallas Howe, Honorary Colonel Sandra Stromberg and Robert Stromberg, former Honorary Colonel. Purchased with the assistance of a movable cultural property grant accorded by the Department of Canadian Heritage under the terms of the Cultural Property Export and Import Act. Tilston Memorial Collection of Canada. I've noticed that quite a few times. The Tilston Memorial Collection of Canada. Huh. So the Tilston's been involved, that name has been involved on quite a few of the medals. I have to do a little research on that. So yeah, Mr. Curry, David Curry, he is buried in Owen Sound. So he's on my list, and I will be going out to Owen Sound to pay my respects to Vivian Curry. So I'm glad I got to see his medals. Okay, so I just came across a local boy to myself in Toronto. This is Frederick Topham. Fred George Topham, VC. Fred went to Runnymede Collegiate Institute back in the day before the war. And he is buried at, I believe, at Sanctuary Park in Etobicoke. So he's buried, that cemetery is at Royal York Road and Scarlet, right where it turns into St. Philip's. Rob Ford's buried in the same cemetery on the opposite side of Royal York. But regardless, I have visited Fred's grave. And this is the write-up. Oh, this is his beret too. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. This beret belonged to Corporal Frederick George Topham, a medical orderly with the 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion, who was awarded the Victoria Cross during the Rhineland campaign. Shot in the nose while treating a paratrooper under fire, Topham still carried the soldier to safety and returned to rescue other Canadian wounded. Oh, got his nose shot. Yeah, so he survived the war and he made it back. And yeah, I documented his cemetery visit. I'm glad I got to see his rack of medals. Take a picture of his beret. Right down there. So it's local boy from Runnymede Collegiate. Boo, hiss. Okay, so I got a little turned around back there with regards to the Battle of Hong Kong display. I thought they changed it up a little bit, but I didn't remember how it was set up. 2 different parts. So this is another display outlining the atrocities in the South Pacific. The Japanese captured and imprisoned thousands of people, combatants and civilians alike. All were treated with extreme brutality, underfed, while many were exploited as slave labor. A large number died of malnutrition and disease. Others were murdered or used in experiments. This is why I got a problem with the Japanese. Sorry, guys. Can't deal with it. You know, they're such a refined society, and they honor family values and tradition, but they were despicable during World War II. I know war is terrible. I understand that. And, you know, a lot of countries, including ours, including Canada, didn't treat other prisoner of wars with the utmost respect, I can assure you, but nothing like the Japanese did. So this is some of the pictures of what my uncle looked like. And you know what? And I've seen these pictures before, and I've taken pictures of these, and I don't know, maybe my uncle's in one of these pictures. I don't think he is, but this is what they look like. My uncle was, 200-pound man almost before he went over there, and he came back, I think he was 98 pounds. So this is, look at it, Yeah. So my dad acquired all my uncle's Japanese prisoner of war camp, toiletries and sundries, and including his chopsticks. We did have my uncle's chopsticks at one time, and a journal. And when my uncle passed away in 1998, my dad passed away in 91, but my mother brought all of what my dad had acquired to the funeral and gave it to his son Craig. So, we gave it back to the family. I don't know why they didn't give it back earlier, but it is what it is. And they're in possession. There was more stuff than this that my dad had acquired. So that'd be interesting, and I don't really remember it. I only seen it once when I was a kid, so I remember the chopsticks that my uncle had were in a black box. I remember that, but I was a little kid, and I didn't see it. I didn't even see it in 1998. My mother had it in a sealed box, so I didn't even get to see it then. But this is, I guess, when they were liberated. I thought that was an American, but that's a Canadian. National Archives. Okay, yeah. So obviously they're liberated here. First time they had some real food in almost 4 years. Brutal. Hey, listen to this goof.
At any cost? How far would you go with that? How far would you extend that?
Current PM Blackface's stepdaddy. Goof. Sorry, I had to put that in. So yeah, I've concluded today's tour of the War Museum. This is the reception area. This museum is beautiful. It's the actual tour through the museum. I don't know if you can get guided tours, but the self-guided tour, it's very informative the way they have it laid out. So self-guided tour here is just fine, and for me it's really good because I like going off on my own. So just reflecting on what I did today, I came here just to more or less outline Victoria Crosses and to visit as many as I could. I think I got them all. I hope I didn't miss any, but I think I got them all today. So, and in doing so, I came across Francis Pegamonbo, one smaller write-up and one more in detailed write-up about Francis, Canada's most decorated Indigenous First Nations soldier of all time. And also the Battle of Hong Kong, which my uncle was involved in, which, I have a personal connection to because it's my uncle. So I touched on, I outlined as much as I could on that. And basically I whisked through the rest of the museum for the simple fact I've been here a few times. And not that it's not interesting, and I didn't, like I said, I have utmost respect for all the people that fought during campaigns for Canada and the Commonwealth, and U.S. soldiers, of course. And I don't want to disrespect them by not focusing on them, but today was to put eyes on the Victoria Crosses, and like I said before, to my understanding, they're all real. They're not replicas, and you can kind of tell that by the cases that they're in, as opposed to other medals. The other medals, it just looks like regular plexiglass sort of thing, but the Victoria Cross cases, they look like it'd be a little bit harder to get those. So a couple that I seen today that I have been to their graves, and many more that I haven't been. I missed out on, and there was a lot where no one's ever going to visit their grave unless maybe they go to, I shouldn't say that, they could be buried in Europe at Commonwealth Cemetery, war graves in Europe and elsewhere in the world. But I don't think I'll ever get over there, but who knows? I'm just visiting the ones in Canada. So I'm going to wrap this video up. But if you ever have a chance to come to Ottawa, this is a must see. I would say if you're not into war history or war artifacts, or our nation's involvement in the military, this may not be the place for you. But having said that, it's still a very nice place to come and visit. Just the way they have it set up is obviously it's very, very professionally done, and they have some artifacts here that are they're impressive. So I'm going to finish the video up, and if you have a chance to come out here, come and check it out.